Good afternoon. You're watching Times Now. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. A day after calling India's judiciary system unreliable, Italy has now sought help from the international community in the case of two Italian Marines accused of killing Indian fishermen. The Italian Foreign Minister, Emma Bonino, has urged the United Nations and NATO for help in the case. While Italy continues its aggressive stand, the BJP has said that the situation is a result of India's mismanagement of its foreign policy. Srinjoy Chaudhary is on the phone line with us. Srinjoy, how has India reacted to threats of the fact that they will now seek an international intervention? They will likely to approach the UN as well as the EU.
The first thing that we are hearing is that the Indian side believes this is a bilateral issue. So going to the UN, going to the EU, going to the NATO is really unwarranted. The second thing we are hearing is the fact that it's a strictly legal issue, or largely a legal issue. So if it is a legal issue, then the Indian government isn't really involved. It is the Supreme Court of India which is involved. And if the Supreme Court has said that there will be a hearing on the 24th, or rather postponed the hearing till the 24th, there is little that the Indian government can do. So attacking the Indian government for the delay for 2 years, sources here in the Indian government say is really unwarranted. Besides, if you are attacking India for its legal problems, saying that the legal system does not work in India, then the whole issue could get even more difficult when it comes up before court, because it could be construed as contempt to court.
Also spoke earlier to Rajiv Dogra, is the former ambassador to Italy. Here's what he told us about the case.
The previous ambassador was also called back a couple of times and he was prematurely transferred. But this kind of a displeasure done too often stops having its effect, if any effect is intended, because it's not India which is on the wrong, it is Italy. It has been tackling this case on the basis of bluster and, I must sadly confess, to some extent bluff, as happened when the Italian Marines were called back on the plea that Italian nationals cannot vote when they are residing abroad, which was absolutely false. So there are many missteps which Italy has taken.
What I can say is that the European Union is disappointed at the news that we've heard today, which is that 2 years after the incident occurred, the Supreme Court has once again decided to postpone a decision on the law to be invoked in the case against the two Italian Marines. We understand that the Supreme Court, the next hearing at the Supreme Court will take place next week on the 24th of February to decide whether or not the Indian anti-terrorist law should be applied to the case. And we would like to reiterate that the use of the anti-terrorist SUA Act would be inappropriate in this case. And we encourage India to find, as a matter of urgency, a mutually satisfactory solution to this long-standing case in accordance with international law and the UN Convention of the Law of the Sea.
A case of mismanagement of India's foreign policy priorities. That even countries not as big as America is trying to almost hoodwink us into taking a position or pressurize us. Come on, India is a big country. And if Indians have been killed, India is duty bound. Take the case of America. It is pushing a case against Devyani, palpably on grounds untenable. And here is a case, Marines are alleged to have killed Indians, and the government of India is sought to be pushed around. That, I say, is a textbook case of India's foreign policy almost being maintained in a manner not in consonance with the needs and requirements of a country like India.